we're not getting Odysseus Prime. The only real argument we have for it being Odysseus or Ulysses, they're both the same, is that he's mentioned by name in the 8-2 Hell book. I see Ulysses frozen upon the wine dark high sea. And then the rest of the text isn't about him, it's about all of humanity. With phrases such as, "This is man, even against the odds, writ by Adam, murder is in their nurture. Each generation forgets the scars of the last, nothing lasts. This antediluvian cruelty by seed you carry onward. Bellum omnium contra omnes." This is all undeniably about all of mankind, which makes the positioning here very suspicious. Hell says, I see Ulysses frozen upon the wine dark high sea. Note the I see. With the rest of this book about all of humanity, this could easily be interpreted as Hell looking at all of humanity and comparing it to Ulysses frozen on the sea. If we don't take this phrase literally and instead take it metaphorically, Ulysses is an archetype of cunning, striving, the one to grow home. Here he is frozen on the sea representing his journey in the Odyssey. This means he's stuck, locked in endless futility, always on his journey with no hope of ever actually making it to Ithaca. This would explain why he's referred to as Ulysses instead of Odysseus. Odysseus is a much more well-known name for the hero. Ulysses is the Latin variant. Imagine if instead of fighting Sisyphus Prime in P2, we fought Aeolides Prime. Aeolides is another word for Sisyphus, but no one has ever used it and you've probably never heard it before. It makes the character far less recognizable by everyone. People also try to use this phrase to predict treachery. Except, no, wine dark doesn't mean blood wine. No, it means purple. The ancient Greek did not have separate words for blue and purple, so they compared the color of the sea to dark purple wine. It also says, I see Ulysses frozen on the sea, not under it or not in it. The sea is never described as frozen, just Ulysses. And then the most convincing point. We are told literally nothing about Ulysses' character here. Not anything. It just says that he is frozen on the wine dark high sea. Not why he's frozen, what he's trying to do, or how he's trying to do it. This gives zero character insight into him, and this reads more like a cameo, not a character reveal. If it somehow is Ulysses, Hakita would have to hide all of the books about him in treachery, because we are given absolutely no substance here. Treachery is supposed to be a gauntlet, not a place where you stuff your lore. The placement of it is also way too perfect. It's at the start of the book in 8-2. Literally the first sentence. In a book that isn't about Ulysses. No, this is a red herring. Odysseus Prime was a pretty popular fan theory, which, of course, I can respect that. Odysseus is cool. So, Hakita put this right in 8-2 without giving him any character substance. A red herring. Why would Hakita do a red herring, you might ask? This is fraud. The trailer tells you to not trust your heart. Don't trust that thing, it's out to kill you. No theories can be made on Ulysses' character within the scope of the game, because there is no character to analyze. Whenever people try to predict how he's going to be like in his character, they always go off either the Divine Comedy or the Odyssey or ancient Greek mythologies, never the game itself. Because it's one singular sentence in fraud. So, in short, we're not getting Ulysses because he's using the less known name. He is used in a context where he could be interpreted as in a metaphor, and because we have been given zero characterization or personality of him. We just know where he is, allegedly. But you're not happy with this. I know it. You're giving me the ace attorney treatment. It's not enough for me to prove my client Ulysses is innocent. No, you want me to point out who is guilty. Because if I don't, you'll still assume it's Ulysses. You can probably predict what I'm about to say. It's Lucifer. It's Lucifer. He was at the crime scene of P3. No one can deny that Lucifer has had a large build-up. Like, he's going to be very important coming forward. He was first mentioned in 5-S, where it's said how he was thrown into hell, why he was thrown into hell, and also his personality before he was thrown into hell. We know Lucifer is considerate, he's empathetic, because of course an infinite punishment for a finite sin is infinitely cruel. Lucifer was considerate. He didn't take God's actions as pure gospel. He questioned them. He doesn't understand why we're making people suffer. So he asks God directly, Father, why eternal torment? Is it not cruel? Is torture unending, truly a fate fit a fool? That's not him being confrontative. It's him asking a question. This isn't your devil horn demon king Satan. No, this is a potentially complex character who was wronged. We don't know how he did react to being thrown into hell. If he's still sane, if he's still empathetic, if he's still God's love. We purposefully have not gotten any hint about how Lucifer reacted to being thrown in hell. I think this is intentional. We'll learn when we meet him in P3. There, we'll finally get to see how he reacted, what came of him, what happened of him. But then you might wonder, well, we had 2 Greek kings before. Why aren't we having another one? You see, I believe ULTRAKILL is following the pattern plus subversion structure. What this means is the first time the concept is introduced in the first act, we of course had Minos. And then people thought, well, we've already had 1 Greek king and 1 prime soul, so maybe in P-2 we're gonna be fighting like a prime machine or a prime angel. And then when the next act comes, it mirrors to the first in many ways, while still being unique. And then people think, well, we've had this structure twice now. We've had this same general thing twice now, so why won't we have it a third? Why won't we have a third Greek king? And then when the third comes, it'll be subverted, but still connected. Hakita has already done this for the arms. For the first arm, you get the Knuckle Blaster, you get it at the climax, at the layer that starts the act. This means we get the Knuckle Blaster in 1-4, and then the Whiplash in 4-4, and then, following from that pattern, you'd expect to get the next arm and maybe another V2 fight, or potentially even a V3 fight, to get the golden arm in 7-4. Instead, we had the Earth Mover fight in 7-4. And it's subverted while still being connected. You're still fighting a supreme machine, just a different one. I think the same thing is being used for the Prime Souls. Lucifer isn't gonna be cliché. He is already subverted by being empathetic, not prideful, thinking he's stronger than God. No, Minos Prime was also subverted like this. Traditionally, he was cruel, he was unjust. He created the Minotaur and locked it away in a maze. He wasn't a nice guy. Here in ULTRAKILL, he is a just leader who loves his people. He is one of the most fan-favorite characters in the game. He is one of the most iconic, and he is vastly subverted. Just like Minos, Lucifer is gonna be vastly subverted too, except it's just a more well-known name than Minos. Everyone and their mother knows the name Lucifer, of course, which makes people think of the cliches of the devil, the source of all evil, the guy that tricks you or whatever, selling your soul to the devil. No, we're not getting Satan, we're getting Lucifer. I could go on and debunk all of the Lucifer deconfirmations, but I don't think I have to. Most of them are just bullshit anyway. I guess as a bonus for watching until the end, actually listening to me, I guess I'll do some more theorizing on P3. Some people try to predict the color scheme of the next Prime Soul by using the grappling hooks. This isn't for the Prime Souls though, it's for the Archangels. Each Archangel, except Lucifer, has a color scheme that corresponds to a grappling hook. What we should look at, however, is the skulls. I learned about this from This Theory by Gaster. I'll link it in the description if you want to watch it, but it uncovers some of the more alchemical references in the new fraud layer. It's really good, you should really watch it after this. But basically, there are 3 skulls in ULTRAKILL. There's the red skull and the blue skull. Those you know about. There's also a third, which is the white skull. The white skull is canon because we can see it in statues and corpses and tombs and such, all throughout the game. The blue skull has the Mercury symbol on the forehead. Mercury symbolizes soul, which tracks nicely with Minos Prime, who also has a blue color scheme partly. The red skull has the sulfur or chemical symbol on the forehead, which represents spirit, which tracks nicely with Sisyphus Prime, who also gets a red glow during his second phase. The third, secret skull, has the salt symbol on the forehead, which represents body. This makes me think we won't be fighting another Prime Soul at all. We're gonna fight something physical, or at least maybe a Prime Soul that has been infused with something physical. White is also predominantly the color of stronger demons. Maybe Hell itself has experimented with a Prime Soul, imbuing it into a demon body to make it even stronger. Of course, this is all speculation. The lore, alchemically, is not gonna magically solve itself when we get P3 and the game gets its ending. There is still gonna be questions unanswered that I'll be happy to try and solve. This is fun. And that's it. If you have anything you want to say, type it down in the comment section below and I'll probably respond to it. Don't go to my channel, you'll find a shitpost from 2 years ago.